All right, we're here with head coach Rechelle Turner after yet another big game in the bank and another big win in the bank. We'll open it up for any questions at this time.
Y'all had to dig down deep because they just kept coming, didn't they?
Oh, and that's who they are. I mean, they are so well coached. They run their stuff. Lacey Stokes, obviously one of the best players in the Missouri Valley, and she's tough to guard. And any mistake that you make, they burn you. And we made several, and they burn us every time. But every time we made a mistake, we corrected it, and we didn't seem to repeat those mistakes. And it was another opportunity tonight when we needed big stops and big rebounds, we got them. And when we needed to score the basketball, we had obviously kids step up and make big plays. And to go 23 from the free throw line is huge. The girls will tell you one of the things they hate the most is I make them earn water. We don't get drinks unless we make free throws. And we started that in June, and they don't love it. But there's a reason that we do it, because free throws win ball games, and we're one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country. And it's because of the time and effort that we put into that. You're going to be really good at the things that you make priorities, and we make shooting free throws priorities on a daily basis.
Coach, how big of a win was this in the conference season? I asked them. They all said number one, and I think rightfully so, with it being 1 versus 2. But just kind of talk about how important that was to you and just for the rest of the season going forward. Well,
the pregame speech was about moments, and basketball season is made up of a lot of moments, but this was the biggest moment that we had. Every player in the locker room and every coach understood we had to win this game to give ourselves a chance to win a conference championship. Now we need a little help, and we got to go finish. We got 3 games, 2 on the road, which are not going to be easy. Saturday is going to be uber emotional for a lot of us, especially me. And so we've got to find a way to, maintain our composure and get the job done. But to be year 3 in this league, and to have to hear a lot of people tell us we only beat the teams we're supposed to, I think this team made a statement this year that, we beat everybody in the league at least once. And the level that this program has risen is all about these players, and the work and the belief and the relentless effort that they continue to play with. And, my assistant coaches do an amazing job with these scouts. An amazing job keeping these kids' heads on straight, and do a great job of keeping me in line. And so, this program is where it is today because of everybody that plays a role on a daily basis. And I couldn't be more proud of what they accomplished tonight.
You talk about defense, how y'all had a lack of it from time to time, blah, blah, blah. Other people have said that. We won't mention names. But Haven Ford made the biggest defensive play of the year, I think, tonight, with a steal underneath the basket.
Yeah, and that was part of the scout. I call them by number. When she got the ball, she usually puts the ball on the floor. She's really not looking to pass. So our plan was to dig that out. And Havens just has a knack for the basketball, and she went in there right on time, got her hand on it, and just totally took that possession away from them. So again, it's a great job of us being locked into the scout, but it's about kids just making plays. And I think that that's the one thing about this team is somebody different has stepped up and made a play when we needed them to the most. I thought Trinity's 4 points were huge, and we needed them. We needed every one of them. Ava did an amazing job on the glass, and managed to play through foul trouble. So there was just a lot of people that stepped up and made a lot of plays.
I thought another defensive thing that happened was Trinity White just simply was not going to let 21 shoot the ball again.
Yeah, we had a little moment when we gave back-to-back threes because we're supposed to guard the ball screen with 2 people. And we were all running in there. The whole program ran into the lane for whatever reason, and we gave up those back-to-back threes. So we made those adjustments, and, we challenged the kids late not to give up any threes. If they go back door, or if they get out of a ball screen and roll and get it, or they slip, let it go. But we're not going to give up threes because we felt like we could trade baskets with them a little bit at that point.
Caitlin had a stretch there in the fourth quarter, 11 straight points. And just how big was that for, not only the rest of the game, but also just keeping in mind too that, Missouri State was making a run back.
Yeah, I think they went on 12 or 14-0 run themselves. And I don't know if you saw it, but I stopped. Kate and I had a conversation with about 5 minutes to go, and it was just she and I a little bit away from the huddle, and I said, this is your moment. This is what you're built for. This is what this is about. This is a player of the year moment for you. We're going to go to you and you're going to take care of it. We're going to continue to go to you and you're going to make the right play. And 11 points later, she puts us on her back and takes us to victory. And that's who she is. She's not afraid of it. She's playing her best basketball at the end here. And, but that's what you got to do. You got to go to those kids and you just got to challenge them. And, Hallie and Haven did a great job going to the free throw line, making free throws. Just a big, big performance tonight.
Two of those baskets that Caitlin had were kind of a duck under move, it looked like. Is that something she's worked on quite a bit?
Yeah, she's had time to work on just about everything. She could probably cook your dinner, which she does a lot, and she definitely could coach the team. So nothing that she does surprises me. I mean, the thing about it is you would think these kids at this point in the season would take days off. They don't take days off. I've said this before. I dropped my son off at school at 7:45 in the morning, and I barely beat the kids to the gym working out, and that includes Caitlin Young. Caitlin Young, Haven Ford, in the gym by 8 o'clock every morning, no days off. But that's who they are. And that's all the kids. Some of the kids have class. We go to class. But they get it in throughout the day. There is never a day that they just sit and don't do anything because they understand the importance of continuing to get better. And, some of our young coaches, our player development coaches, they do, Brittany and Kay Mitch do all of the workouts with the kids. And you can tell such a distinct difference in how much better our kids have gotten this year. So they need a shout out for all their hard work and continuing to make our kids better.
Would that mindset be just kind of, going into these final 3 games? Because I know that people could look at that and say, okay, well, even though these teams don't have the best records in conference play, that after 2 wins like this, emotional high, emotional letdown, whatever you want to call it, is that mindset kind of just what gives you confidence heading into this final stretch?
It is, and this basketball team's been very mature. We've been able to shake off tough losses and come back, and we've been able to handle big emotional wins and come back. But there will be nothing taken for granted. For Saturday, there'll be nothing taken for granted next week. I can promise you that. We've already set the scouting coaches meeting time for tomorrow. We will stay in that office until we figure out the best way to attack Southern Illinois. And we will continue to work just as hard or harder than we've worked all year, because you cannot have a letdown this time of year. You need to be playing your best basketball going to Evansville.
Speaking of playing best basketball, it looks like Hallie is back to what she was in December.
Yeah, she was unbelievable. Just, lots of swag about her tonight. Yeah. Made some big shots, put the ball on the floor, made some moves, got downhill, just the Hallie that we expect. So it was great to see that because we know she's capable of that every single night. But, freshman year, and I know Hallie's a sophomore, but I'll finish my thought here. Freshman year for kids is very difficult here. Haven Ford wanted to, ask me 3 or 4 times why I recruited her. I mean, she struggled so much, but then look at her now. Well, this is Hallie's freshman year here, freshman year in this system. So for her to thrive as much as she is, because we didn't have the luxury of having her last year and her to get used to this pace and get used to playing with other great players and those things. So to see Hallie's progression, I think is even more amazing that she's been able to do it so quickly. But she was big time tonight. One
more question for me. When you took over this job, a night like this is what you dreamed of, wasn't it? Absolutely. Just to put this program in a position to win a championship. I mean, 2008, 2009, in the Ohio Valley Conference has been a long time ago. And there's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into this. And there's been a lot of players that have come through to this point that have helped to build this program, because it began with culture and it began with chemistry and it began with making sure that things were left better than when you got here, each and every player. And so it's not just about this team. It's an accumulation of all the players that have come through this program, all the coaches that we've had come through this program that have made a mark, because anybody that has been involved in this has helped us get to this point. But, we're not done yet. And we don't know what's going to happen. We can only control us. We have no idea what's going to happen, but I do strongly feel like only one team will go to the NCAA tournament from our conference. So it's about Evansville. So we have 2 weeks to get better before Evansville.
Another good crowd tonight. Crowd's been building all year. What do you have to say to Racer Nation? Just unbelievable. Cannot thank them enough. And there was a very important high school game about 2 miles from here with 2
ranked teams and right at 6 o'clock. So poor scheduling on everybody's part there. And I have no idea what happened, but I do know that Callaway and Marshall support their high school. So I know there was a big crowd there, but just unbelievable. And that's what I want them to know is these girls do not take it for granted. I mean, they love Racer Nation and Racer Nation loves them. And it's just a sweet, emotional relationship that we have. And I think one of the best decisions I've made since I took this job is allowing our players to stay out after the game, win or lose. I think that's one of the best decisions I've ever made because it allowed our players to be personal to the fans. And it allowed our players to thank the fans and for them to get to know each other. I mean, our players have relationships with people that have been coming to games for years but had no idea who they were. And so it's just been great. And I do not get on Twitter and beg people to come to games. That's just not who I am. But I will say anybody that watches this, get here early on Saturday. Be here for these seniors. They've done so much for this program. You're not going to want to miss it. And I know how much they'll appreciate it.
That's kind of what I was getting at. The atmosphere in there couldn't be rivaled by all.
I mean, on their feet from beginning to end. Every time we needed a big stop, they got up on their feet and they gave us that extra energy. They were celebrating harder than I was, and I usually celebrate pretty hard. So, again, just cannot thank them enough. And CFSB buying out the women's season tickets and making them free allows people in our community to bring their children to games. And that's just so exciting for me to see all these young kids, boys and girls, with their parents and their grandparents and just enjoying basketball. And I had 2 or 3 people tonight say these young women have encouraged my daughter to play basketball. And that's what it's all about. So I can't thank CFSB enough for doing that. And, we've got one more. And we hope everybody comes out on Saturday.